one of my guys, he made about, 70 grand in like 6 months. Okay, amazing. Let's put it together. Let's get this thing going. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you. And that there's always going to be times when you're going to be like, it's a roller coaster. You're not sure what's going to happen next. You just got to just, stick through it. And if you don't quit, like you really just can't lose. I would see someone like being successful. I was like, okay, what's the difference between that person and me? Like there's literally nothing. If they can do it, I know I can do it at least that well or probably better, right? Everything is about really having confidence and just being committed. There are so many different jobs that you can do, but it's like when you look at the highest paying jobs in the world, I mean, you have salespeople making more than, doctors, lawyers. It's something that you can just always fall back on. If you can sell, you always can find a role somewhere. This is real. Like this really can be done.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off Topic. Today I'm with Alex Saal. That's how you pronounce your last name? Saal.
Yeah.
Alex Saal.
Yeah.
And super great guest in the entrepreneur field. Does Amazon, e-commerce, automation, all kinds of things. We're going to get into that and, have an engaging conversation, get to know him a little bit better, and hear about his story and the businesses he's creating. So thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Like you said, thank you. We met briefly and I was trying to get some stuff settled, but just give us a little backstory, basically where you came from and how you got doing what you're doing now.
So I was, working a 9 to 5, just like pretty much, everybody else. Without getting into like a ton of detail, I was used to be a mechanical engineer, came to Austin to get into real estate, and I wanted to get into sales. And I didn't leave myself any opportunity to fail. It was either, I basically had to succeed. Otherwise, I was going to be in big trouble. And I ended up becoming really good at sales. I was the #1 revenue producing sales rep at GoDaddy Social, which used to be this company called Main Street Hub. Anyways, but I kind of reached like a peak, where I felt like, okay, what am I doing? And I wanted to be a part of the implementation, not just selling stuff. And so that was really what got me into being like, okay, I really want to be an entrepreneur. And so we were working with e-commerce people all the time at GoDaddy, and it was very clear they were making money because they had the money to sign up for marketing. I was like, okay, this is really the next thing. And so I was looking at becoming an entrepreneur. I was looking at real estate was going to be the main thing, which I have done some real estate development. But I found a mentor that did both e-commerce and also real estate, and I decided, okay, I think that I'll have a lot higher chances of being successful if I have a mentor than just doing it on my own. Dove in, and 3 years later, consulted with hundreds of different business owners to get successful in Amazon. So we're doing well.
Yeah.
Nice. How long ago did you move to Austin?
So I've been here since 2015.
Okay. And then you started in real estate when you first got here?
So that was the goal, right? So I actually had no money when I showed up. So I had to go get the money first, right? So I got the sales job, I got some money, and I saved up enough for a down payment, and then I just went ahead and dove in and got a house.
Okay, so when you say real estate, you're talking about like buying real estate, not being a realtor.
Right.
Okay.
So my original goal was to get into like
Gotcha.
And so forth.
Okay,
so,
gotcha.
Like the house that I bought, we bought a 50s house, and then we renovated it and developed it.
Yeah, that's especially right now, you can make some good money doing that. Especially if you buy the older homes, like on like Cameron Road and whatnot. I used to be a plumber at my uncle's company, and this lady, she bought a house for like, I think it was like 125K or something like that. It was a little small house on Cameron Road, and we did the part of the renovating for the plumbing, and she sold it for like $375, and just made like a quick dime like that. Yeah, there's, especially right now in Austin, since so many people want to move, it's a good place to be and start basically anything.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So you get into sales, you do your sales job.
Yeah.
Did you always have a like heavy sales background, or how'd you develop that?
So the real story was it was really funny actually. Just before I got into the podcast studio, literally someone downstairs I went to college with in San Diego, like very, very random.
Wow.
But it's kind of triggering this. So I was in a fraternity called Pi Kappa Alpha.
Yeah. Okay.
And actually, so I had when I was a mechanical engineer, I had a roommate who was also, it turned out to be a Pike, and he was telling me, he's like, like, he's like, if you really want to be in business, like, you should get into sales. You'd be really good at sales. He's like, all of the biggest CEOs, like, they all come from a sales background. And I think that just kind of like played in my head for a really long time. And that's why I was like, all right, I got to really develop this skill. And so I just decided, I'm going to really dive into it. Yeah, I think I always had like a knack for it. But, I think it was just something where, look, there are so many different jobs that you can do, but it's like when you look at the highest paying jobs in the world, I mean, you have salespeople making more than, doctors, lawyers, and everything else. Yeah. And a lot of them have actually, pretty good, lifestyle. So I just said, let me learn this skill. And I just went all in and decided to get, really, really great at it. It's something that you can just always fall back on. Like you always, if you can sell, you always can find a role somewhere.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest. Well, it's probably one of the only job markets that will probably always be around forever.
Forever.
Because you always need people
sell
like
products, sell services, anything.
Yep. How was it hard for you to learn it? Because I know some people, it's like they learn it and they're good at it, but it's not an easy skill to learn. And you said you had a knack for it, but there's also some people that it just comes natural to and they're just good.
Yeah. So, getting back to kind of the college stuff, like I was a mechanical engineer. One of the reasons I got out of it was because like I found myself really not in love with it. And also like there was people that were just better than me. But what I was really good at in college was networking with the right people. So I may not have been the smartest people, but I made friends with all the smartest people, and that helped me get through. So going into being in sales was when I started working at this company. I was getting the hang of it, but I met a few people that knew some stuff, knew more than me. Actually, I met my girlfriend, who is now my wife and the mother of my children. I met her there, and she really helped me. Really kind of be like, okay, you kind of do this, and this, and this is what gets you ahead. And it just was really the shortcut. So I guess you could say, in a way, like she was one of my mentors early on in that, and helped me fast track because she was already doing well, successful there.
Okay, yeah. Networking is the most underrated skill. Like it's all about, at the end of the day, about who you know, who can open up a door for you, and then being able to like capitalize on that as well, and then network with other people and expand and get into other networks. So that's super, super cool to hear. And I guess like moving into Austin and then, doing the real estate route, things like that. What kind of made you want to, I don't know are you still doing that now currently, or do you?
So honestly, it's not something that I'm really focused on right now. I'm all in with the e-commerce stuff that we're doing. It's definitely something that I want to get back into and get back into development, but I have my hands full. I got a lot of stuff going on at the moment, so that's really where my focus is for sure.
And getting into e-commerce and Amazon automation, you said you had your mentor. Kind of what were the steps once you met your mentor to end up going into that role full time? And like, I guess like what helped you build that into the skill you have now?
I think really it's like everything is about really having confidence and just being committed. And so when you see someone else, this is like when I first started doing sales, I would see someone like being successful. I was like, okay, what's the difference between that person and me? Like there's literally nothing. So if they can do it, I know I can do it at least that well, or probably better, right? So same thing with getting a mentor, where it was like, okay, I see this, what he's doing, like he's confident that he can do it, he's confident I can do it, so I better just have confidence in myself. And that was really the biggest thing, and that's what was really helpful. And it's like when you're an entrepreneur, as both of you guys know, that there's always gonna be times when you're gonna be like, it's a roller coaster, you're not sure what's gonna happen next, but you just gotta just stick through it, and if you don't quit, like you really just can't lose. So
because being entrepreneurs, it's hard, it's taxing on your mind and the body, just because it's really a 24/7 job, especially if you want to make it a career. With that, I guess competing with other people in sales, what are the other biggest things that like you found out that in entrepreneuring that are like challenges that other people didn't tell you about?
Well, the biggest challenge that I found out early on was funding the business. That was actually the biggest challenge, right away. I think you think that you can kind of just start something, but you have no idea like how much it's going to take 10 times the effort and probably 10 times the cash to get started. So like, first thing was when I was starting this e-commerce business was I have really strong personal credit, and I maxed these cards out trying to get, you know, these stores off the ground. So, I mean, you go from, you're spending 5K to next year, like 30, 40, 50K, you know, in a hole. And if, you know, these products aren't selling, you're going to be in a really, really rough spot. And, you know, you're at home and, you know, you're like, then like, I don't know. I can't remember if we were engaged or she was just my girlfriend. She's like, "Why don't you get a real job?" Like, you know, and it's like, but you know, we have a relationship where she knows that I'm not going to quit on my dreams, and it just is what it is. So, so that was tough, but I mean, it all ended up, you know, working out. Now, if I could do it all over again, well, I would have gone and got some business funding rather than putting everything through my personal. And that was one of the things that I really, really learned.
I guess like with funding and stuff, because I've heard like some horror stories with funding and whatnot. Like you can get the money, but then once people are starting to fund your business, they kind of want to, the more and more money they're pouring into it, they kind of want to have more control about like what's being done or how things are being done. So do you at least like having the full capacity and control, knowing that you personally like got these businesses off the ground?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, you don't want someone coming in like the mafia, like into your business, taking control. No, I was actually talking about like business credit cards. Like,
got you.
Get, like, instead of having a regular 30-day cycle, you know, Amex, you know, you can get, you know, 0% APR business credit cards, and you can fund the business. It doesn't affect your personal credit.
Like
that's what I was actually talking about.
Okay, because we've been definitely like looking into stuff like that as well eventually, because we want to open up a studio kind of like this, be able to help people run their podcasts and things like that, but also a place where we can shoot our own content. But like you're saying, it's just like when you don't have like a stable business and actual money consistently coming in from whatever you're doing, then it's very, very hard. And that, like you said, you got to take a risk, you know.
You're sitting in a premier studio, and you could already imagine how much it costs just to build this alone, you know?
Absolutely.
So like, it's the same as you. You're spending so much money. And I'm assuming it's just you at this point? As
so
business?
So initially, it was just me, and that was another thing that I learned was that you can't do everything yourself. Like, you have to hire the right people, and you got to delegate. That was definitely another thing that I learned. But no, we have, you know, now, I mean, we have a pretty big squad. You know, I have on a daily basis, like at the warehouse, we have between like, you know, 5 to 10 people when we need extra hands and so forth. Got a really good squad. But when I first started, I mean, it was 100% me. You know?
And the reason I was saying that is because you're I guess paying all that out of your pocket by yourself. Right. With us, we're blessed enough to have me and him and 2 other people on our business LLC. So it's money coming from me, money coming from him, money coming from this person, this person. So yes, it's still expensive, but it also helps us and takes less stress of us because there's other people involved that is helping the cost be this much instead of this much.
Yeah, I mean, so as far as like business partnerships are concerned, I mean, I've just learned that, you know, I need to be able to at times make unilateral decisions and say, hey, this is the way that we're going to go. I think that there's definitely like you can have complementary skills, and someone's really good at this and you're really good at that, and there's ways that you can work together. Like for myself, like I don't personally want to have, you know, a business partner, and I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to get the money however I need you need to do it without, you know, feeling like I got to reach out to somebody to you know, to have leverage over me or whatever.
So I guess with Amazon automation and e-commerce, when did you know like this really works? Was it through your mentor, or did you like have like a personal experience with it where you were like, wow, sold this much in this product or saw this much come to your bank account?
So, I mean, I had got started with e-commerce in 2017 when I was working at GoDaddy. That's where I first, you know, got into gear with it. But my first like really major experience of seeing success for, you know, both myself and other people was I actually started with doing these Walmart stores. And so that was kind of a thing where it was like a new like arena to get into. And yeah, I mean, you're seeing like people posting these numbers online and stuff, and it's like, okay, is this really going to work? You know, I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, we made some people a lot of money. In 2021, you know, I mean, I said I wasn't going to talk about numbers. But I mean, I had, one of my guys, he made about, 70 grand in like 6 months. And it's like, okay, this is real. Like this really can be done. So,
yeah.
What is what is drop shipping? Because there's a person that we had on before.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know him. What was Jacob's last name?
Hopkins.
Jacob Hopkins. He's I don't know if you know Alex Hermosi, but he's a kid Alex Hermosi always talks about.
Okay.
But he started in high school. He was drop shipping on Amazon. So what is like drop shipping versus like e-commerce and the Amazon stuff you do?
Yeah. So, I mean, most people getting into e-commerce are going to kind of try everything, and drop shipping is one of those kind of entry level things to get started. So what drop shipping is that you're not buying any inventory up front. You're just going to set up a store, like an online store, and you're going to list products in the store. And then if it sells, amazing. The money comes into your bank account, and then you go buy the product, and you're buying it from some other supplier. There is technically a way to do it where it's legit, like on Amazon, but for the most part, most people don't do it the right way. So most people, they're going to go to like Walmart and then Walmart.com and buy the product and have Walmart ship the product to the customer. But the problem is that the customer is going to get a Walmart box with a Walmart receipt. They're going to be like, WTF, this is what's going on here. And they're going to complain to Amazon, and you're going to get in trouble, and then your accounts get shut down. It's a mess. So what we do is we're doing the wholesale model. So we're working with suppliers. We have a lot of local suppliers in Texas, but we also have them nationwide, and we're buying in bulk up front, and then we get the stuff shipped to our warehouse and in Austin, and so we actually have the inventory there. And then we send it into Amazon's fulfillment centers, Amazon FBA. So Amazon's actually holding all the products. So we're just doing the initial, receive the stuff, we prep it up, label it, and do all that. Then it goes to Amazon. And then as the orders come in, Amazon is then putting it in an Amazon Prime box, and then the Amazon delivery drivers, drop it.
Yeah. So y'all are like, even on Walmart, when it says shipped and sold by, it'll say whatever company or business, because it'll say like shipped and sold by Amazon. On Walmart, it'll say shipped and sold by X Electronics. That's what I guess y'all are. It's shipped and sold by y'all.
So, okay. So yeah, I mean, e-commerce can get really complicated, really fast. So that would be what's called merchant fulfilling something. And yes, you definitely can do that. When I first started, I'll just tell you like a funny quick story.
Go for it.
So when I first started selling on Amazon, and it just was kind of getting successful, and also I really like to go out on the lake, on Lake Austin, and we're a member of a boat club, and go out there, and you're gonna see how this kind of goes together. So I found this product called Scrub Daddy. Now Scrub Daddy is a brand that some people know, some people don't know it, but it's just a really good sponge. But it's ridiculous. The products sell for like $25 when you just go buy a sponge at H-E-B or whatever for like $2 or whatever. It seems ridiculous that people pay for it. Anyways, I was able to go directly to Scrub Daddy, and I bought out all of the remaining inventory that they had. Okay. So but I wasn't sending it into Amazon at this time. At this point, I actually built a warehouse at my house, and I was my wife was helping me a little bit at the time, and we were literally shipping the stuff out as the orders would come in. Okay, so not Amazon doing the deliveries. We're actually doing shipping. So this is where the story gets a little bit funny. So we go out on the lake, and it's like a Saturday or Sunday, beautiful day or whatever. And I'm like on my phone, and I'm getting all these notifications like we're getting these sales. And I had like 150, like 200 of these things in the store. Well, what had happened was everybody else sold out, so I was the only seller on this. And by the time we got done with the lake in like 2 hours, I had like over 100 orders. It sounds great until you got to go back on Monday, and you literally have to box up like over 100 of these things, because if you don't ship them out on time, then you can get all in trouble. That's really when I learned, like, okay, wait a second, there's got to be a better way to doing this stuff than me just boxing stuff up my hand. So,
that's kind of where we're at, because we sell merch, and it's like I have the merch at my house and on the box and everything, so I see the notification on my phone. I was like, oh, well, I got to get this out by tonight, so I got to go home wherever I'm at, or do whatever I'm doing, box it up, take it to the USPS, and then just go from there. Yeah, it's a good problem to have, though, because it's like you're on the lake and you're having fun, and then you just have, I guess you'll just call it residual income coming in, and you're like, and you're just living your life as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So going into that, You're doing e-commerce.
Yeah.
And then you build your warehouse. When did you know like this was an investment that you had to make, like your warehouse?
Yeah. So kind of talking about like the real estate stuff a little bit. So I had done some work on my house, and I had this shed. It was literally just a shed, like a really junky, like really bad thing. And the final thing I did, we were way over budget, and I was like, I'm gonna turn this shed into an office and a warehouse. I'm gonna make $1 million out of this thing. That's that's what I told myself, and I told my wife, and spent more than I should have probably to do it. But I mean, it did work, and we loaded. I had people in there. Actually, like my warehouse manager, who's my warehouse manager still to this day, like she was actually in there, had this thing packed out to the brim. Like you literally just you couldn't physically, be in there. It wasn't that much bigger than this podcast studio, right? But the other thing is that if you want to deal with like really big suppliers, like, you're not taking a semi truck and backing it up, into your driveway, right? Like you need to have a big physical space to be able to work. So, basically, I had gone from having stuff in my shed to I started working with what's called a third-party logistics company. So there's actually warehouses that you can contract with across the country that can receive all your products. I'd done that, but the reason I got the warehouse was like I wanted to have control. I want to have quality control, so I'm just overseeing everything that we're doing, and that's really the best way to do it.
Do you have anybody reach out to you and do that third-party thing through your warehouse?
So really great question, and that is something that we're going to be offering to everybody in this new venture that I'm doing, which is Alpha Distribution Hub. So we're actually going to be doing the prep and pack work for our students who are mentoring as well. So yes, that's going to be part of it.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Now, all this stuff that you're doing, was this stuff that you like learned as you went, or is it this stuff that your mentor taught you as well?
Good question. So I learned like enough to be dangerous, right? Which was literally like sometimes it's just one little thing that you learned. So he really just taught me about this one software, and it was like, whoa. And like what the software would do is just literally would scan between different websites, and you could see like, oh, I can buy this product for cheap and sell it for high. And it's like, and it did it automated. Like that's the automated part of it, right? But there's limitations on that. I mean, there's so much more to, being successful in e-commerce. And so, I mean, the thing is like, there's no Amazon, university. I mean, look, there's you can go on, Amazon Seller Central, and they have Amazon University, but it's like, the deal is that if there was a school that you could actually go to and learn all this stuff, everybody would know how to do it, and there would be no money to be made. But because there's a lot of stuff where it's misunderstood, that's why it's a really good opportunity. The Chinese have a saying, something like, all the money is made where the water is murky. So yes, I've learned along the way, and you have to work with other people, network with people who have already been doing it. So like even I've had multiple mentors. I actually hired a mentor a couple years ago to help me get some of my first wholesale suppliers. Great woman. Who actually, she actually happens to be a registered nurse, and so she was able to help me get some medical supplies. So one of the first things I was selling was these CPAP masks. So like people that have like sleep apnea or whatever, and you're not selling a machine, you're just selling a little plastic thing, right? Because it gets gross. Like people don't want to. Anyways, it's something that you sell on Amazon. Is really my point. But going full circle, now she's working for me as a part of our new mentorship program. So she's actually going to be one of the coaches actually teaching people how to do this.
That's cool.
Nice.
How do you go about picking your mentors?
Basically, I just want to see that someone is probably more successful than I am. It's like you want to look at someone and be like, okay, this person is where I want to be. That's
Absolutely.
the way I look at it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, what if they're like, how do you know like their vision and goals not necessarily align with you, but y'all like think alike, to where it's like, okay, I do like this person, versus like somebody who doesn't, like wants to just change everything completely, or tell you just completely different way to do it? Is it just communication you have and you just kind of fill it out? Because I mean, you've had multiple mentors.
I think you know, and I've mentors in kind of all different arenas. I also have like another business mentor in sales as well. And one of the expressions that he uses that like a fisherman can spot another fisherman, right? So basically, like, I mean, it's not really so much of like, do I like this person or not like this person? I'm just like, it's very clear that this person is successful at what they're doing. I know that if I don't change something, I'm not going to get to where I need to be. And I'm, as much as like, I like to be in control. Like, if I know someone knows more than me about a certain thing, I'm like, okay, hey, you can have control. Let's rock with it. You know what I mean? And like, look, this is y'all's podcast. It's like, okay, you know, it's your rules. I'm gonna roll with it. Same type of deal.
Yeah, definitely understand that. So I guess going into, you kind of, you know, mentioned a little bit of your wins. Like, what have been some of the challenges with getting into e-commerce and the Amazon automation, or any difficulties that you've had with it?
You know, just understanding all the rules. I mean, there's just a lot of factors. Like, as an example, you could be very, very successful with one product, and the brand could be like, okay, it's fine, you can sell this product. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the brand can say, you know what? We don't want any other sellers selling this product whatsoever. And the brand is going to be the one to control the listing. So it's like, right when you think, like, I figured it out, it's like, then it's just ripped right out from underneath you, okay? You know, like, as an example, like, Amazon just rolled out some, like, literally, like, within the last week, where they're charging $1,000 fee if you have low inventory in your store. And I'm not trying to scare anybody from not, you know, getting started on Amazon, but like, I can't predict this stuff. Like, I have no idea. But you just got to roll. You got to roll with these, with these different things. So I think it's just, it's not like there's like one challenge, but it's just like, you can never have the attitude of like, you know, I've made it, I'm good. Like, you have to know, like, right when you think things are just like really, really amazing, there's going to be some kind of hurdle coming around the corner, and you got to just be ready to, you know, adapt to whatever situation.
Can y'all like technically sell everything, or do y'all have, is there like obviously legal stuff that's within selling? So like, I was talking to Ryan about Fabletics. Like, can you go buy Fabletics clothes and sell Fabletics clothes, or is there like legal matters in between that you have to read first to be able to sell their product?
So Amazon has something that's like, you know, first right of sale. So technically, like, if you like got a gift, technically, like, you would be able to sell that on Amazon. But if you're selling like in bulk, you want to make sure that you go to a supplier that the supply chain is verified, meaning like they can track that it was actually made by that manufacturer. There's one of the big issues on Amazon is that you got a lot of Chinese knockoffs. So you know, if that, like, people could be selling like fake Fabletics as an example, right? Now look, I don't know about that specific brand. Like, they may not want anybody selling their products on Amazon, but I'd probably be willing to bet that it is something that you probably could sell. Like Nike, you know, anybody can sell Nike. You just have to go through the proper stages to get you know, approval on Amazon to sell Nike as an example. Then you can sell as much as you want.
Gotcha.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense. And what have been some of like the most profitable industries that you've seen just on Amazon?
That's a really good question. So I'll give you an example. So I showed you that example with Scrub Daddy, and there was another example was Stanley Cups. And it's kind of a funny story the way I stumbled onto it. So Stanley Cups became a huge trend. Basically, every single sorority girl wanted to have a pink Stanley Cup. It was crazy, and this was in Christmas of 2022. But the way I stumbled upon it was we found that Stanley Cups looked like to be a profitable item, and I had a really good client, great guy, and it was on a weekend, I'm packing stuff up. Hey, what are you throwing in my store? And I told him, I was like, I'm throwing these Stanley Cups. He's like, oh man, I got 3 of those. He's like, we need to get more. He was like, just tell me that. I'm like, I have no idea. Like, so the difference between a Stanley Cup and a Yeti cup, like we have Yeti in Austin, right? A Stanley Cup is literally a Yeti cup with a straw and a handle. That's the difference. So anyways, I was like, okay. I was like, let's get more of these things. But I didn't know it was going to turn into this huge trend, right? And it worked really, really well for about 12 months until Stanley said, hey, guess what? Everybody get the heck off my listing. only Stanley is going to be able to sell this product. Okay, so where I'm going with this is that we're trying not to really chase trends. I'd rather have something that's consistent that we can sell over and over and over again. So the categories that we really like to focus on is like grocery. So shelf stable grocery products. So like as an example, I'm just, Idahoan mashed potatoes in a box. Okay. So it's like Americans, they want convenience. It's like, and they all like, look, two parts of the convenient part. They don't have a lot of time to make their dinner, and also they don't want to wait in the grocery store line like a bunch of cattle or whatever. So they're just going to go on Amazon, buy the thing, and then get out of there. It's like, coffee, you name it. But there's a lot of other profitable categories. I mean, supplements are like really, really profitable. I really like to focus on products where it's like consumable. Consumable can have many meanings of that. That could be even like a beauty product where it's like a lotion. It's like you use it and then it's been used. You can't return it is what I'm getting at, right? It's not like you're gonna take half of your Flintstone vitamins and say send it back. Like I don't like it. That's not how it works, right? Whereas I would probably try to avoid a lot of apparel. Now, I will say I have sold a lot of Nike stuff, and, you think you're doing amazing when you sell a bunch of Nike hoodies, during Christmas, and then everybody wants to send the stuff back and return it, and you're not feeling like so much of a winner. So that's what I'm really trying to teach all of our students is like, let's get into some consistent categories where we can make money month over month over month. And so, grocery, beauty, those are the categories that you can really...
No, it makes sense because that's stuff that people... A, are gonna buy all the time, and B, need all the time as well. So it makes sense. How do you all go about setting y'all's prices? So like GNC has these vitamins. You'll have the same vitamins. GNC is on Amazon. They have them for $17.99.
Right.
Like you look at GNC, like people are gonna know that brand and know that what they do and what they sell. So how do y'all go about putting y'all's prices on whatever it is and competing with the major brands?
Okay, so really good question. So to be clear, we're selling products that other people are already selling. So I'm not trying to compete with GNC per se. It's more like we would also be selling GNC vitamins as well. And we want to be competitive. So as long as you're within 2% of the buy box price on Amazon, Amazon's going to rotate your product through the listing and you're going to get the sale. But as far as how do we like manipulate the prices, I probably shouldn't use the word manipulate, but how do we, set the price correctly? Amazon's like a really, really crazy place. So a lot of times like you're going to be on there selling a product, someone else is, and people are doing what's called penny bombing. They're literally like dropping the price by 1 penny to try to be the lowest price. And then that's a race to the bottom. Everybody loses. So there's actually some really cool softwares out there that literally like in the middle of the night, what they'll do is they'll start raising the price back up using AI. And what it does is because those same sellers that are chasing you down to the bottom, they'll chase you on the way back up, and it normalizes the stuff. So it's really crazy the way the stuff works. I mean, people think that it's like, oh, people are just going to buy the lowest price. Like, no, they're not. It's like most moms, I mean, I'm just saying like that are busy. They're not like, well, how can I get the very cheapest, grocery item or like Pampers or whatever. They're just like adding stuff to their cart, and whatever's in the buy box, they're getting it. So sometimes you can actually price yourself as one of the highest prices and still get the sale. It's like I've literally sold one of those pink Stanley Cups for $140 when literally like you can go into one of these brick and mortar places and buy the thing for like $45. It's just insane.
Yeah. So when you type in Amazon, you type in whatever it is, for your name to be at the top, is that always rotating, and that's just like the Amazon algorithm, or is there like ways you can pay to be at the top, like when you're on Google, when we type in podcast studios, Pouch6 is always gonna be at the top because they pay for stuff like that to be at the top, to be seen. So is it the same way with what y'all do?
Okay, so good question. So if I was creating my own product, like creating my own brand, like let's say like I come up with my own, coffee brand or something like that, and I want to make sure people see it, right? I'm going to have to run paid advertising so that when people search for like, Arabica, coffee or whatever, Colombian coffee, like people actually see it, okay? However, what we're selling, you know, top name brand products that people are already searching for, right? So they're searching for like Ziploc bags. So we don't necessarily need to be the number one. It's not like people are searching. I'm not worried about the person who's searching for, you know, freezer bags of any kind. I'm looking for the person who already knows I'm gonna go to Ziploc.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting that product for significantly cheaper than you can get it, you know, anywhere else, because we're buying the stuff in bulk from the suppliers that give us a deep discount on it.
Gotcha.
And then, you know, the stuff sells because people need it.
Yeah. So is there like a limit when you buy this stuff in bulk? Like, do you have to get like a certain amount to actually be able to purchase it?
Yeah, real good question. So most of the, you know, wholesalers, like, you got to spend at least like 10 grand where they're going to even consider giving you a deal. And like some of the suppliers that we work with, it's like, you're not getting a deal unless you spend 6 figures. It just really just depends. Yeah.
That's a lot and scary because, I mean, like you said, you really don't know if you're going to sell the stuff or not. Like, it could be like Ziploc could just say, I'm done. Nobody could sell our stuff anymore. And that's that. And you just have all these Ziploc baggies and like, all right, what am I going to do with these?
Okay. So yeah, good question. So there are, you know, there's some brands where, you know, you're going to be more concerned about it than others. Like Ziploc happens to be one that like is not something that you're going to be concerned about it, because they have been around for so long. They have such a huge distribution channel. They're in every single, you know, corner store, grocery store, like you name it. And quite honestly, I don't know this for a fact, but I'd be willing to bet a lot of money on it that there's not someone at the head of Ziploc being like, I'm worried about one Amazon seller who's like, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? However, back to the coffee example, but let's use something different, which is true. Let's say like you make some like beauty product, like it's like some kind of like, you know, tanning lotion or whatever. Okay. Like I create this brand. I'm not creating, you're creating the brand, and I'm trying to sell this thing. This is the thing. You're gonna be pissed because that's your baby, and like you're gonna be like, I don't want anybody. You're gonna come after me. So I'm worried more about like the individual people creating those brands rather than like a giant corporation. It's the same thing with like Nike. Nike really they don't care.
Yeah.
It's the same
That makes a lot of sense.
That does make sense because I mean they've been around forever. They're established. You're not really losing that much money because regardless store or not, they're gonna get bought.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, you know, building your Amazon stores and kind of having that stake in the game and knowing what you're doing. Yeah. When was the transition that you wanted to make alpha distribution and start, you know, teaching your students and actually bringing people along the journey and showing them how great this endeavor is? So,
I mean, you know, every good businessman, they know when it's time to pivot, and this is the time. And the reality is that like I just want to empower entrepreneurs to be able to do this thing on their own. So I think that there's so much more value in really showing someone how to fish than just, you know, giving them the fish, right? So I'm really aiming to impact a lot of people, and I know that by you know, being in the education space, like I can really just impact way more people this way and provide a lot more value to the community.
Yeah.
At that point, I guess, are you handing off, not really handing off, but like, are you giving the Amazon stuff business to somebody else, or is that still like you're running it, but you're also trying to run this as well?
Yeah, so I'm running a couple of businesses at the same time. You know, is the reality situation. So I got a lot.
How do you deal with like all the stress and then worrying about this business, this business, this business? Because it's a lot, and it just at some point it does get to people, and it gets to everyone, no matter how strong mentally you are. Like it gets you because it's tough. So like, how do you balance doing all that?
I mean, I would really say that's something I was thinking about today, and I would really say like how successful you are is really a function of like how well you can deal with the stress that comes along with it. Like that is a really like big part of it, and I think you just have to just kind of accept it, and you just keep moving. And you know, as far as well, I kind of catch myself, you know, rambling a little bit here. But but dealing with the stress is really just like having the right team members in place. That's really going to be the best thing, and like, you know, developing those team members. So like, as an example, you know, my warehouse manager, you know, I brought her in really just to like be packing up boxes. But now, you know, she's in there literally managing the Amazon stores, and she's on the phone with the suppliers and closing the deals. And she's like, I mean, it's just like she's making deals with these truck drivers to like go, the guys who do like the scheduled deliveries from like Amazon or whatever, she's making deals with them to go pick up products from our other suppliers that we work with. And it's like, the more that you like really like pour into people, the more that you're going to get back out of them. And that's how I relieve my stress, is just really like leaning on my team and leaning on the strengths, and know that they're going to be there for me and I'm going to be there for them just like they are for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of this big, when you get big, a lot of this stuff can't be done unless you have a team. And you sound, even before you even said that, in my mind I was like, oh, he has a good team around him, because you've been doing it this long, you've made this amount of money, your people have made this amount of money, and it's still going strong. So you can't do that without having a solid team.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So with Alpha Distribution, like, how's that been, kind of reaching out, getting people interested and wanting to join this, and like kind of building that sense of community and trust?
Yeah, I mean, you know, along the way when I was doing the done for you stuff, I would always have some people being like, you know, I really want a mentor. That's what I really want, or like want a course or something like that. So, well, okay, well, I'll come back to you, you know, when we have that available. And I did, you know, I've done some mentorships, you know, individually along the way, but yeah, I mean, there's some people who were initially interested in wanting to have this like fully automated thing, and I told them like, hey, look, like, I got this new thing. I'll show you step by step how to do it. You're gonna get to work with me personally on it. Like, do you want to do it? And they're like, yeah, that sounds really good, you know? So like, I have a woman who's, she owns a cleaning business, and I think she's, even though like, you know, she'll probably still, you know, keep continuing doing it, but I think she's like, you know, getting a little bit burnt out from it, and, you know, just wants to try something new. And you have another guy who, you know, works at the airport, and, you know, amazing guy. And he's just like, good job, but you know, knows that the 9 to 5 is not going to be, you know, what's going to happen. I think that a lot of people just like, they want to take that step, but they're scared because they're scared they're going to fail. And it's like, literally, like, that's the same reason why I got a mentor, to really, you know, increase my likelihood of being, you know, successful. So I know I got like a little bit, you know, off topic with it, but basically it just became clear that like people want to know how the game works. As much as people say, I want to have a total hands-off thing, like, they want to know what's going on. Everybody wants to know what's going on.
Yeah. And then how do people, I guess, sign up for this course that you do have? Is it something like that you built your own website and it's through that website, or is it something like a Discord and you have a server and people are in there and you hold classes whatever days, or is it something that's like on what's that called? I can't remember what the other website's called, but is it
School.com? Is that good?
No, it's where people, I guess, have their classes on there. The only reason I know of it is because I like poker, and Daniel Negreanu has a class on there on this website, but I can't. I had it in my head, but I can't remember what it is. How do they find you, essentially?
So so we do have a Discord channel. The answer to that is yes, and we will be building out some you know, some more channels like school, and have, you know, the recorded classes in there where people can go and view all that stuff. As far as people finding me, you know, we're reaching out to people. I have people reaching out to us. We're still getting, you know, a lot of the marketing off the ground. I mean, you can see a lot of the stuff that I'm doing on social media, and you know, trying to educate people and tell them about it. But yeah, if they want to go and, you know, find us, they can just go to alphadistributionhub.com. That's gonna be the easiest way.
Gotcha.
I think it's called Masterclass.
Masterclass, yes, I have heard of that.
Yes, Masterclass. People, I don't know if they have to invite you or what the case is, but people just basically go on there and like teach whatever they teach. Like I said, Daniel Negreanu plays poker, and he like teaches how to play poker
like
more in depth.
Like a subscription service kind of deal.
I think so.
Or like you buy the course in full.
I think you buy the course and then you just go through the course.
Yeah, that's the thing too, like getting into courses and stuff has kind of been something that we've been both wanting to invest in, especially as we take our entrepreneur route, because we both have 9-to-5s as well, but trying to figure out a way to make stable and real income, even more than what we're making now, but also gives us that freedom and time to step away from what we're usually doing during the day and like work on like the podcasts and media and stuff like that more. So definitely probably reaching out to you, just trying to learn and get more into it and stuff like that. But going into like, you know, the content and things like that, have you just been like scripting everything out or like recording all the videos at once? Like, how are you going about like building that?
You have really good content, by the way.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, work hard. I've been like posting like every day for a long time now. I haven't posted anything today. I need to get something out. But you know, I do it in a couple different ways. So yeah, I do actually get scripts together beforehand, and so that is one of the things that really makes, you know, everything look sharp. That's some of the content that I'm going to do. That's going to be like in studio, but also like I'll literally just like record myself live as I'm doing this stuff. So like recently I was literally like in a meeting live on Zoom with my team members, and we were going through like doing product research, and I said, hey, I'm just gonna put the camera on, I'm gonna record, you know, doing this, and I'm literally just showing bing, 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 bing. And then it's like, you know, you chop the thing up, turn it into content. And so I think if you give a, you know, a mix of different kinds of content, like, you know, studio, teaching some stuff, showing that you're doing work, it really gives you the ability to show you have a, you know, a dynamic, you know, character, you know, pretty well-rounded, and gets to show off, you know, what you're about.
How long have you been doing content?
So I mean, I've been posting about e-commerce stuff. Well, before I was posting vacation pics when I was just making money doing sales, and a little bit, you know, the rest of my life type of stuff, and kind of like construction projects I was working on. But really started getting deep into it at the beginning of 2022. You know, I think I basically was kind of looking at what I was doing. I was like, you know, doing a bunch of, you know, paid advertising, and it was working, but I was like really trying to figure out like, how do I really separate myself and show that I'm authentic, right? So I think you got to have a mix of the paid and the organic, right? Because it's like someone's might see paid traffic, but then they want to check you out on social, right? What are you doing on YouTube or whatever? So I try to have a good mix to really show what I'm about.
Yeah, because you're really good on camera, and really, you can tell that you're really confident on camera. Was that something that you kind of had to get adjusted to as well?
So,
because even here, like
I'm gonna tell them a little bit of embarrassing story.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not really embarrassing to me, but just, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, when I was in the first grade, we had to do a school project, which was it was the first 100 days of school, and so when I came into class, you know, you come in there and someone has, you know, 100 pennies on the cardboard, right? Someone has pictures of 100 different planes. I think someone had $101 bills. What I had 100 pictures of myself. So I literally like had my mom take me like run around shooting pictures of myself.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think I was ever really like shy in front of the camera, but I will say there is something different between like being like, you know, recorded. It is different. So you know, being in sales really helped me kind of craft that a little bit, but then like, there's a big difference between like reading a script and just like, okay, we're gonna just like, you know, shoot this content right here, versus like, you know, we're ripping, you know, freestyle here. It's only because, I mean, I'm doing this thing. I'm doing this every single day.
Yeah. So, do you have a media team like that take care of all that? I
have a lot of people that help me. Yeah, it's really, really important, you know.
That's fire.
So yeah, I'm really, really excited about, you know, the stuff that we're doing with the marketing and branding. Really gonna show off what we're about.
Yeah, and going into some of the last questions on here, what is like going to truly make your brand and you stand out as opposed to others who are probably trying to do the same thing, maybe teach people the business and things like that?
I think it's really that, you know, we're actually spending the time, investing the time into the people, you know. So I'm really getting hands-on with these students and making sure that they're successful, you know. So like, look, the sky's the limit. You know, right now we're being very selective with who we bring on. Like, I need to have the right people that want to learn and are going to implement, right? Because if my students if they don't take action on what I'm telling them, then that's going to reflect negatively back on me, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, really my goal is just to be in the trenches with them. You know, initially, like I said, I do have actually a couple Amazon FBA coaches that are going to be, you know, teaching. And really the goal is, you know, to build the whole thing out, right? Whole community of, you know, people that are learning how to sell. They can do it on their own, and then also build more coaches into the program as well.
That's cool. So when you say selective, the people that you bring on, do you mean like, I guess the students, or like people that are helping you?
The students.
The students?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not looking for someone. I'll give you an example. You know, and if you're watching this, I wish you the best. Okay, no knock on you. But there's a gentleman who we were explaining, you know, the program, and he happened to be in law school, and he was like doing finals and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And I was explaining to him that, and his finals are happening right now.
Yeah.
I was explaining that, like, well, let's work on actually setting up your LLC and getting the groundwork done, because all that stuff is going to take a few weeks to actually get all the LLC process and the bank account and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm like, by the time that comes back, like, your finals are going to be done, it's already going to be over, right? But as we start digging into it, I'm realizing he's like, yeah, you know, I'm not really that interested in like the mentorship and stuff. He's like, I really want to have something that's like, you know, done for me, right? And it's like, okay, well, this is not going to be a good fit for you. Like, we need people that are willing to put in the work. Like, you know, this might sound like, you know, something you heard a million times, right? It's like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's like, I'm gonna give you the suppliers that we work with. I'm gonna give you the email templates that you need to send them. I'm gonna give you the phone script. And it's like, if you're not willing to put in a couple hours a week, I mean, then I can't really help you here.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the thing. People will always say, I don't have time, but like, that's a lie. Like, you just gotta make the time.
Yeah, you
like,
gotta sacrifice and
literally
find what's important to you.
Exactly.
Literally.
Because you can go and look through your day and like, okay, I could have spent an hour here and like doing whatever I need to do for the business.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. So how much? I guess that made me think of another question. For someone that's like getting into this to, you know, make a livable wage, I would say, how many hours do you think they should spend? Do you think it just varies, or is there like a specific number?
Really good question. So, I mean, you know, again, it depends on, you know, how much of your income is depending on this. So if you really want to just, this is going to be like full-time, ditching the 9 to 5. I mean, yeah, you got to be putting in 15 to 20 hours a month, you know, minimum. If you're looking to have just some like side income, I mean, even in literally like 6 hours in a month, you can actually accomplish a lot of stuff. Because you got to remember that a lot of the stuff is very automated. So like, and that's one of the things that we really aim to give people is like, they don't have to have products showing up their house and boxing the stuff up. You don't have to break your back like I did. Like, that stuff is not fun, right? We can do that part for you. So literally all you got to do is just use your mind. You got to make the relationships with the suppliers. You got to go through some of these data sheets, use some software, pick out some products, buy them, and then our team is going to handle the prep and pack work and send it to Amazon, and then the orders just start coming in Amazon, and Amazon's shipping the stuff out. So it's like, literally, once the products get into Amazon, like, you're really done. So it can be very, very, very hands-off. But if you want to really, really get ahead of the game, right, the more time that you put in really can help. And then it's like, you could be traveling the country, going to trade shows, right? And so, like, I know you might want to ask, like, what are some of the other things that we're going to do for people, right? So it's like, one of the trade shows I like to go to is this trade show called ASD in Las Vegas. And, you know, we've met a lot of great suppliers there, right? And one of the things I want to have, you know, my people, our community, come out with me, and I'm actually going to introduce them and show them, you know, how to actually, you know, deal with these suppliers in person, negotiate, and all the above. And so it's like, if you want to put in that extra legwork, then yeah, you're going to get some rewards out of it for sure.
Do you have to have, I guess, money, a decent amount of money to like start, because you pay for your course to do with you, then all this other stuff you got to do as well. So do you have to have like a decent amount of money to like start doing what y'all are doing?
I mean, you're gonna have to have, you know, you're gonna have to have some money, right? Now you can start with cash, but you know, also I was saying, you know, business funding is a good road to go. I'll show people how to do it, show them everything that that I know. That way they can avoid the pitfalls that I've made. Because like what I was saying was like, I ruined my credit when I started my business because I had like a 750 FICO and I took it to like a 625 FICO. But via networking, I met somebody that knew about business credit, another Amazon guy, and he's like, just go get the Amex Gold Card. And it was like, I did everything. Like I removed a couple like inquiries, like paid off a couple things just to get enough to get to 650 and then got approved, and there was no looking back, and then literally got hundreds of thousands of dollars in 0% APR, business funding. But you don't have to have a ton of money. There's a lot of funding options where you can get started. But yeah, you want to have, you got to have a little bit of something to start out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's pretty much it for me. That was
it for me.
That was fire. Just like going through everything.
I was very just locked in, like everything you said, because it's interesting and it's cool to learn about these things, because it's like you said, it's not if everyone could do it, everyone would be doing it.
Absolutely.
And it takes the faint heart to start it and do it and actually be successful, because it's a lot. And not many people are like comfortable jumping into a fire pit and not knowing what else going to happen.
And it's really cool just for you to be as successful as you are, want to get back to the community and kind of pay it forward for the next people that are trying to get into this business and kind of show them the way and things like that. So I think that's super awesome, and I'm excited to learn more about it and talk to you off camera about it and learn about it more, because definitely super interesting, and definitely something that I feel like as an entrepreneur or business owner, just another way to make some more money, as well as always helps your other endeavors and stuff like that. So
yes sir. Yes sir. Before we hit this off, do you have any shout outs you want to give or anything for us?
I just want to give a shout out to my wife, my kids. My son's birthday is coming up tomorrow. He's turning 2.
Nice.
Oh,
awesome.
man.
Yeah, love that.
They grow up fast, don't they?
Yeah, do you have kids?
No, I have 2 nieces and a nephew, so that's why I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got another one on the way, so that's
congratulations.
Nice. Shout out to my team. I could not do this without them whatsoever. So, I'm still trying to make my parents proud of me as well. So one day we'll get there too. So.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Again, thank you for taking time out your day. You're a busy man, so we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But that'll do it from your boys over here at Opinionated. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.
Peace.